Hello, I'm Aaron from GameEnthus.com. In this video, I'm going to be talking about two different games from Anomia Press. Anomia and Duple. Anomia and Duple are both party games, 3 to 6 players. While they do share some DNA, they are very different games. I believe there is a adult version of Anomia and some other versions, different categories and things. I think Duple is just Duple, but I could be wrong. Also, Anomia means when you can't think of something, so you go, that's what Anomia is. Actually, the definition is in the back of the box. A problem with finding words or recall. So, yeah, that's an Anomia. And Duple means made for 2. Although this is for 3 to 6 players. All right, to the games. Okay, the setup is pretty basic. You're going to divide the cards in half. This is the first edition. There's several other editions. There's like an edition for adults, things like that. This is, I guess, the most, what's the first one? So it's the most basic one. So I think they recommend the blue cards where you start off, but you can mix in the red cards, you know, whatever you want to do. So the cards have different symbols on them and things like that. And I'll just kind of walk you through what a turn might look like. So let's say player 1 sitting here, player 2, player 3, player 4. On your turn, you're going to flip a card, and you flip it sort of away from you so everybody else can see it theoretically before you can. So player 1 flip a card in front of them. This is a politician. Player 2 flips a card. Player 3 sitting over here will flip a card so everybody else can kind of see before they can. And now we have what's called a face-off. A face-off is what happens when there's 2 matching symbols. So you see the circle here, they both have it. So quickly, player 3 is going to try to call out a martial art, and player 2 is going to call out a card game. Player 2 could just say Anomia, and you know, that would be sort of meta, but that would satisfy that card. Player 3 could say Taekwondo. You know, whoever says it first, they would get the card that they called out. So let's say player 2 was slick and said Anomia, which people might balk at a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. They would take the card that they called out and they would set up a pile of basically points. So every card you get is worth a point. And the game will continue on like that. So now it'll be player 4's turn. They're gonna flip a card so everybody else can kind of see it before they can. Bagel flavor and politician. So player 1 will try to call out a bagel flavor. Player 4 will try to call out a politician, whoever does it first. So player 1 says everything bagel flavor. They will take this and now it's theirs. So it'll be back to player 1 who would flip so everybody else can kind of see it. So herb, spice. Over to player 2, who actually drew a wild card. I'm glad that's there. Gives me a chance to talk about it. A wild card just means the 2 symbols shown on it are equivalent. So if there's 2, blue, if there's 2 green pluses, those are still a match. If there's 2, it's not really a hashtag, I guess a super hashtag, those are still a match, but also a green plus and the super hashtag are also now equivalent. So they still match themselves, but they also match each other. So then player 3 will go, and what are the odds of that? So player 3 would say Taekwondo. So that means they would take that. Or player 4 who would flip up so everybody else can see first. So if somebody gets the green plus or gets that would match them. Back over to player 1. Okay, so this wild would now supersede this. And to be fair, I did lose track of turn it was, so let's say it's player 3's turn, so they're gonna flip this so everybody else can see it. So now, because of the wild card, this symbol and this symbol are now equivalent. So cumin, let's say player 3 said cumin. So they would take that card. But now they've created a combo. So now these 2 match right now. So now they revealed another face-off. That's the thing. When cards start stacking up, when things start getting removed, you create more combos of face-offs. So if player 1 said trumpet, then they would take that. And the rules do recommend that you have something you pass around as a first player, as the active player or marker, because things will get really kind of mixed up a little bit when you're creating face-offs, because things are being revealed, because people are winning cards, and you kind of forget like who was going and all that kind of stuff. So just for an example, let's say player 4 and player 1 both said a last name and a politician at the exact same time. There's no clear winner or somebody who said it first. Another player who's not them would flip over another card and sort of into the center, and they would, and at that point, both of them would yell out something that satisfies that card, and whoever gets it would win that. So once the deck runs out, whoever has the most cards in their pile would win the game. And that is how Anomia is played. This is the type of game where I don't play it a whole lot, but whenever I do, I really have a good time. Family really enjoyed it. And I think to myself, why don't I play this more often? Which I guess is really telling me that I should just be playing this game more often. It's not complicated. It's really easy to teach. It's 3 to 6. I know some of the other boxes give you a whole lot more cards. I know there's much bigger boxes give you a whole lot more cards and things, but you can't go wrong starting off with the first edition. If you like it, you get the other ones. If you get the adult one, play with other adults. Yeah, that is Anomia. It is like I said, what I showed you is how the game plays. It is a lot of fun, and the fact that if you're not paying attention, you will soon learn that you should be, because as people are getting cards and other things get revealed or new wild cards come out, what was you sort of maybe not paying attention means you should have been, because you're missing out on points because there's face-offs being created and you're not a part of them, and you need to be a part of them. Okay, so Duple definitely shares some of the elements with Anomia, but it is its own thing. So we're gonna have a stack of letter cards, which have a letter on them and a symbol, and a stack. And within this, you're gonna have some wild cards, which will cause two symbols to be equivalent to each other to create even more.
Face.
Yes, they're still face off. The wild cards are supposed to be kind of shuffled and distributed throughout the deck pretty well. You have category cards, which have a category on them. And then you also have what are called all play cards. All play cards don't really play off of the categories. All play cards will play off of all the letters that are currently visible for all the players on the table. And whichever player happens to shout out a word that has at least all those letters, they will get this card. It's worth 2 points. I'll take a couple of turns and kind of show you how it works. Okay, so the category is going to be country. And we're gonna have player 1, 2, 3, 4. So player 1 draws a card, they have a U. Player 2 has an A. Player 3 has a U. Okay, so now these two players have a face-off. Yeah, so player 2 and 3 would have to, one of them would have to shout out a word that is a country that also contains both of these letters. Whoever does it first will get the top card from the loser's play pile. So if player 2 said Austria first, then they would get to take this and put it face up, and that's a point for them at the end of the game. The category stays the same until there's a face off. So let's say player 2 said Austria, they would take that, they have a point now, a new category would come out. Category is noun. Okay, so play would resume with player 4, who has a C, and we just keep going around. Okay, when a wild comes out, it goes in between the letter and the category piles, and what it just means, sort of similar to Anomia, is now these two are equivalent. These two can still match themselves, but then they can match each other. And I believe that was player, I don't know. Okay, now we have a face-off between player 4 and player 1. Whoever shouts out a noun first. Player 1 shouts out the word scourge. Okay, scourge clearly is a noun and has a C and a G in it. So then they would take this. Now they have a point. Okay, so now, gotta change the category. So now we have first name, C and L. Okay, Carl. So somebody said, so let's say player 4 said Carl. They would get that. Also revealing this symbol again, and you kind of know how this works. Okay, I think it's player 2's turn. So now we have an all play. Okay, so once all play comes out, it would cover up the category, and then someone would have to yell out a word that they can just make with all the letters that are visible. So CTG. Of course, you can't have proper nouns. Everything has to be one word. Somebody said Colgate. There's a Colgate College too. So, but you can't have proper nouns. So I guess that would, well, the brand and the college will be proper nouns. But somebody said Colgate. Say player, I don't know. Say player 4 said player 3 said Colgate. They would get this. It's worth 2 points. We changed the category because we already did first name, seafood. Play would continue. How the game plays. Once all of the letter cards run out, there's actually 7 more wild cards in there as well. Once all these cards run out, the game will come to an end. Whoever has the most points, including 2 points. These are worth 2 points. These are all worth 1, and then the all plays, you want to get those. There's only 4 of the all plays. Those are worth 2 points. Most points wins the game, and that is Duple. Okay, so my thoughts on Duple are very similar to my thoughts on Anomia. It's a game that I honestly don't play a whole lot of, but like I said, whenever I do, I honestly think to myself, why am I not playing this game more? It's fun. I cannot decide which one I like more. I feel like whichever one I'm actively playing, I prefer. So if I'm playing Anomia, I like Anomia better. I'm playing Duple, I like Duple better. I know that sounds very fickle, but that's the truth. So I did introduce both Anomia and Duple to my family, and I realized that my oldest child actually liked Duple more, and she went out and grabbed Duple and enjoys it quite a bit. She did enjoy Anomia as well. I think she liked the idea of the challenge of having to use at least 2 of the letters for most of the face-offs, and then three or, well, however many people you have, all the letters for the all play cards. If you watch most of this video, you get a real good idea of how the game plays. It's quick. Think of something, unless maybe you have an Anomia, but that's fun. It scales up pretty well. It is 3 to 6. I feel like any more than that might be kind of crazy, but yeah, that is Duple. So I don't know. These are both good games. I think they complement each other very well. They are similar, but I think they're both worth having. So Anomia, Duple. So fun games. And that's what games are supposed to do. Fun. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.